Hey guys, welcome back to Finding Health. My name is Kara, and in today's video I'm going to be revisiting the video that I posted on the day that I underwent gastric bypass surgery, August 30th, 2019. The title of the video is Bariatric Surgery, What I'm Looking Forward to Afterwards. Now, I haven't rewatched this video since the time that I posted it, so I don't really remember what I talked about, but I thought that that would make a good video for me to react to now 2 and a bit years after surgery to see the things that I was looking forward to, whether or not those actually came to fruition. So, without further delay, let's just get straight into it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. On the day that I am posting this, I am having my surgery. If you haven't been watching, I am going in for an RNY gastric bypass surgery, weight loss surgery, and I am so excited. It is very shocking to see myself the way that I was. And I mean, I obviously remember life like that. I spent many years housed in that body. But just looking at it and hearing the difference even just in my voice, I never expected that my voice would change from weight loss, but it really has. And I don't know why that is, but going back to these videos, there's pros and cons to it for me. But overall, I mean, I can see how excited I am about the surgery taking place. Now, obviously, I didn't film this on the day that I had surgery, but a little bit beforehand, but I genuinely was so excited to have the surgery done, and I was just ready to go. I really don't know what to expect in terms of the recovery. I will be taking 3 weeks off of work, but it depends on the person. I think I actually only ended up taking 2 weeks off because I recovered really easily after the surgery. I was lucky in that regard. I didn't have any real pain, I didn't have any complications, and things just went very smoothly for me. So if I recall, I went back to work after 2 weeks. I have an office job, I sit all day, so I think it'd be different if I was like in a factory setting or had a lot of like activity and walking around, waiting tables, things of that sort. So the pain really wasn't bad at all. It's a laparoscopic procedure. But you have to be very cautious with that, because if you're not getting those physical pain cues, the trick is not overexerting yourself. So I still had to be very mindful not to push myself too hard just because I wasn't in pain. My body was still very much recovering from a massive surgery. It's just that it didn't hurt in the same way that, say, my C-sections had that I had in the past. What I thought I would do today is just share some of the things that I'm really excited about for life after the surgery, and really life after the recovery portion of it, because it's not like you come out of the surgery and then 5 days later you're ready to rock and roll, you're super skinny and life's all great. There is a whole other process that happens afterwards. When I really think about it, because there were times, let me be completely candid and honest, there were definitely times where I just wanted to give up and cancel the surgery, and it was just altogether too hard. And thank God that I have a really good support system, and thank God for you guys as well, because the support that I've got from you guys has been incredible. I really cannot state enough how grateful I am for the support that you guys have given me. It makes a world of difference. It's very true, and I'm still grateful 2 years later. You have no idea the impact that you've had on my life, and I don't think that I'm ever going to be able to explain it fully, but just know that it has made this process infinitely easier for me. And in those times where I'm thinking I can't do this, I can't do it another minute, another second, I then think about that sleep apnea diagnosis that I got about 2-3 weeks ago. And I think of that horrific CPAP machine that sits on my bedside table, and the truly uncomfortable mask that I have to wear with that. And I would rather drink pretty gross shakes 4 times a day than wear that for 40 years. So if it means that for 3 weeks I am constantly sort of fighting hunger and a little bit miserable and not living the best life, I can do that because in the grander scheme of things, 3 weeks really isn't that long of a time, and I can get through it. And then, further to motivate myself, I think about what life after the surgery is going to be like. And not so much in terms of like the recovery, but let's look forward 6 months. What does that look like when the pain is gone and I've healed and I have sort of become familiar with my new digestive system and how it works and what it likes and what it doesn't like and all that kind of thing. At 6 months, I was not completely familiar, I will tell you that. But trust me, at 6 months, life was so much better and easier than it was when I was filming this. And there are a ton of things that I'm looking forward to. And that's kind of what I want to share. Now that I've been talking for 13 minutes, that's kind of what the whole point of this video is really just talking about some of the things that I'm really excited about. And no sleep apnea is certainly one of them. That mask sucks. I do not like it. It wakes me up more than I think the sleep apnea does, to be honest. No sleep apnea is high on the list of things that I am excited about. No longer have sleep apnea. Likewise, just having more energy in general, and reducing the sleep apnea, of course, would play into that, but just having less of me to move around. It's exhausting. It is. If you think about your kids, if your kids are 65 pounds, 85 pounds, pick them up and carry them everywhere you go. It is not easy. It's, going up and down stairs, going in and out of cars, like it just, even just walking, like it gets to be a bit much. And so it's exhausting. And because I know it's going to be exhausting, like I don't like walking to the park, even though the walk would be helpful and I get that it's all connected. But I know that my legs are going to rub, and I know I'm going to be out of breath, and I know that I'm going to ache and that my feet are going to hurt. And it's a whole mood. I am so grateful for life now. I have so much more energy. I'm able to run around after my kids. I can run up and down flights of stairs. Really no issues. Yeah, I get out of breath every now and then, but it's not the way that it was. And at work, my office is on the 2nd floor. I can run up those stairs. I'm not having to like sit and catch my breath. It's so much better. And like I was saying in here, like I never wanted to walk anywhere because I knew it wasn't just that it was going to be difficult on the journey to wherever I was going, but it would be like an all evening event where my knees would ache and my ankles would ache and my heels would be sore, and it would keep me up at night or wake me up at night. And I don't experience any of that anymore. I do have the odd back flare up, as you may or may not know if you've been following me on my other channel. I sprained my back for reasons unknown. I just sprained my back. I blame it on stress, but I don't know. So those kind of things do happen, but it's not necessarily related to just my physical being, and this one most definitely was. And if anybody's watching this and wants to be judgmental and shitty and tell me that it's my own fault and you should get past that and this and that and the other thing, I invite you to literally walk a mile in my shoes. I'm not saying this for self-pity. I'm just being honest. I'm sure that other people who struggle with weight issues understand. At any rate, what was I saying? Like, I'm quick to blame myself. Like, I understand. I'm the one who buys the food and puts it in my face and all that. Like, I get it. So nobody else needs to point that out. I was so defensive. I really was. I was just terrified. I lived in fear of people leaving crappy comments and judging me for my size. And it's not that I enjoy receiving negative comments, but I am happy to report I don't get very many at all. Most people are wonderful, like truly wonderful. Most people resonate with what it is that I'm saying, and they have the same shared experience. Every now and then people will come in and say something crappy, but having been this far removed from it and having gone through this process, I can usually see that the people that leave dumb comments just have no clue what they're talking about, like none whatsoever. And so it doesn't really impact me anymore. It just kind of rolls off my back because I just don't have
the emotional bandwidth to deal with people's idiocy. I don't. I'm not sitting here on the internet trying to convince people to have surgery or trying to shame anybody for not having it or for, being overweight. I lived that life myself for many, many years. I have no judgment towards other people. So I'm not out here trying to change the world. I'm just here sharing one person's real experience with being an obese person and then having undergone a drastic weight loss surgery in order to be where I'm at now. I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be perfect, and nor do I pretend to have all the answers. But looking at this video here, I can see just how scared I was of it, and that's why I'm coming across as so defensive, because I wanted to try to ward it off if at all possible, because I didn't think that I could handle seeing those kind of comments at that time.
But it's just hard. It is just hard. And going to a gym, it's embarrassing. I am embarrassed to go there. There's a bunch of fit people who know what they're doing. And I feel very much out of place.
So I want to comment on that because, first of all, it's still, I get social anxiety, and so I still feel a little about working out at places. But this all plays into the bigger problem, or the bigger challenge that obese people in particular face, is the stigma around it and the judgmental looks. And going to the gym becomes harder because you're afraid of what people are going to say or how they're going to view you or treat you, and so it just sort of exacerbates the problem. So when I get comments, or when medical professionals have even said to me, okay, well, all you got to do is eat less and move more, it's not particularly helpful, because moving more is a challenge in and of itself for a multitude of reasons. Not only is it just physically more difficult, but then there's also this more societal and broader issue of the stigma attached to it. And so that's where I think there needs to be more compassion shown to people who are extremely overweight. It's not that they're lazy. It's not that they're dumb by any stretch. I spent years thinking that I was, but that's not it at all. It's just, there's so many factors that go into it. And so being more compassionate, being more welcoming and open is only going to help. And what I would say to that as well is, if you have a family member who is obese and you want to assist them in terms of losing weight or encourage them to do so, shame is not going to do it. Fat shaming, body shaming, none of that. Research shows that just drives people in the opposite direction, and I can speak to that from personal experience myself. But become part of the solution for the person you care about. Encourage them to go on a walk with you. It doesn't have to be a 10-mile hike. It can be around a city block. It's just movement. It's all about progress, not perfection. And so encouragement and actual support, actions speak louder than words. So become part of the solution for those people. Likewise, if you have somebody in your life who is trying to encourage you to lose weight, but they're going about it in a very hurtful or harmful way, they likely don't intend to be hurtful, but you can always say to them, what would be really helpful for me is if we could commit to a weekly walk or an everyday walk, or whatever you can handle and fits in with your schedule. And then that way the two of you can be accountable to each other and just assist each other. So just wanted to throw that in there.
And then tying in with that, I want to get more active with my kids. I talked in the very first video, I spoke about the surgery, about how I dream of going down a slide with Bennett on my lap. And you best believe when that day happens, there will be video footage. That is going to be a dream come true to me. Likewise, Aspen loves Canada's Wonderland. It's like a Six Flags kind of deal here in Canada. And I went in 2017 after I had Bennett and had lost a significant amount of weight then, and was able to fit on the rides with her. And then I gained the weight, and here we are. So it's now one of those things that she does with her dad, because it's pricey to get in, and there's no point in paying for me to go in if I'm not going to go on rides. It's like $60 or something, and that just doesn't make sense. So I'm looking forward to next summer going on rides with her.
Yeah, so again, pandemic screwed that one up, but we did go this year, And I think Barry and I went twice on our own as well, and we bought a season pass for summer of 2022 for all 4 of us to go. We went on a roller coaster, all 4 of us together. I was able to like walk around the park all day with them. It's just so much fun, and to know that we have the seasons pass so we can go anytime, because it's only about like a 25-minute drive from our house, so we can go anytime next summer. I'm so grateful for that, and I got to sit beside Bennett on his very first roller coaster ride, and it's just such an awesome experience to be able to do that and to fit and to just know that I'm going to fit, because they, at the beginning of some of the like the big roller coasters, they actually have like one of the chairs just sitting there so that you can actually sit on it to see if you can fit. I would die before I would ever try that before. Let me tell you, there's no way I would ever test it out. I would just avoid it entirely. And I didn't even have to worry about it because I knew that I was going to fit in the chair. And that in and of itself is just such an amazing feeling.
Weight limits and weight restrictions. I am so excited to not even think about that. You have no idea. If you are not overweight, you probably don't even consider it. But things like camping chairs. I have to look at the labels to make sure that it's not going to just like collapse under the weight of me.
I am very glad that I don't have to. I still do, but it's more so like just to show myself that I don't need to. Does that make sense? Like when I went to BC earlier this year, I was doing like a climbing thing. It's called a Via Ferrata. So you're basically mountain climbing, but in a very assisted sort of way. There's like rungs built right into the side of the mountain, so you can climb hand over fist, all that kind of thing. And there were weight limits on there because you do have to fit into a harness and all this. And the weight limit was like 50 pounds more than what I'm at. And just knowing that there's such a buffer is just like a reward in and of itself to me. So this one, I remember just hating having to look up every freaking weight limit on everything. Water slides, being too heavy to go on a freaking water slide. All of that kind of thing is a thing of the past, and I'm so grateful for that.
As well, you know, in all of this, just having more confidence. I'm talking about going to all these places, and if I had the opportunity to go today, I would be far too self-conscious in order to go. I would just be too in my own head, too worried about what people would think. You know, see me walk in, they're kind of like, what are you doing here? You must be lost. The cupcake store is next door.
I was so mean to myself. I was far meaner to myself than anybody ever was to me. And I'm glad that that is a thing of the past as well. But what I'm saying here overall about being embarrassed to go anywhere and looking for confidence, I went solo to BC, and I went hiking, and I did the Via Ferrata, and I rode the gondola, and I just did all of that all by myself. And this person in this video would never have done it. I wouldn't have even wanted to go on the flight, to be honest. And I certainly would not have signed up for any of those things because I would have been too scared that I wouldn't have been able to do it. Or go across a suspension bridge, I would have been afraid I'd be too heavy for it. Even though it's designed to hold multitudes of people at a point, I still would have been too afraid to do it. And certainly the idea of going somewhere specifically to hike every single day is not something that I would have considered at this size and at that point in my life. And again, I am just so happy with where life is at now for me. I'm not the most confident person in the world, that's for sure, but I definitely have more self-assurance and less concern about how others perceive me. I feel like at this point I just kind of fade into the background. I don't really think people necessarily notice me, and I'm okay with that. I truly am. But at this point in my life, I figured everybody noticed me and everybody judged me. And frankly, honestly, like, think about the last vacation you were on. Think about all the other people that were there. What did they look like? What color was their bathing suit? What color was their hair? What hairstyle did they wear? Do you even remember? No, because it wasn't you, and nobody else remembers me. And that's not to say that I'm insignificant or meaningless or anything like that. It's just I assigned so much more value to my own size and shape than anybody else ever would. So I spent a lot of time worried about that, and it really was wasted energy.
But I'm excited to just not worry about it. Like when I sit down and my clothes, you know, shift on my body, I'm not picking at them, I'm not pulling at them, I'm not trying to hide what is part of me.
Oh my gosh, the number of times when I'm wearing like turtlenecks like this, and I'll just sit like this, like even on the couch. Not anymore, but like I would do this all the time with my own husband. This looks ridiculous. This is more like eye-catching than just sitting like this. So again, wasted energy.
From a physical standpoint, I'm excited to get a jawline. And maybe just one chin would be nice. I fucking hate this part. Like I hate it. It's a point of embarrassment. And I can't like suck it in. I can't put Spanx on it. There's nothing I can do. It's just out there flapping in the breeze. And even in my videos, I mean, you see my face and that's about all you see of me, and there it is.
So we have definite improvement in the jawline aspect, but it's not perfect. There's still some excess skin under here. There's some loose skin up along this way. I could probably go and undergo some sort of treatment to tighten things up, but that's not a top priority for me at this point. It doesn't really bother me. Of course, I would love to have like a completely snatched jawline, but it is a dramatic improvement over where I was, and also having it smaller now means that when I lie down at night, it's not choking me, because I was literally strangling myself in this body that I had. When I would lie down, everything would sort of compress against, and so I couldn't breathe properly. And if I lied on my side, I usually had to have some sort of like a pillow or a blanket like rolled up in front of me so that it would hold my shoulder out, because otherwise I was just sort of crushing in on myself, and it made it hard to breathe as well. And I am much happier with the way it is now, even though it's not perfect. I'm okay with it as it is. Of course, I would love to see all of this excess gone, but again, it's not a top priority.
Certainly looking forward to being smaller overall, but I don't have any like goal weight in mind. I don't have any goal size in mind. I haven't been below a 20 in so long that I can't even imagine what that looks like. And even at that, I was only a 20 for like maybe 6 months out of the last 10 years.
So I'm currently a size 14, and I'm very happy with that. And I don't have a goal weight in mind. I still don't. I have shifted my thinking from sort of result-oriented goals in terms of what size do I want, what number do I want on the scale, and it's more just about actual behavior goals. So prepping my meals in advance, eating mindfully, things like that. I'm currently looking at starting to train for a 10K run, and also just really increasing the amount of vegetables that I get into my diet and more whole foods. So all of those kind of things are more behavioral based, and the numbers kind of fall into place behind them. So I've changed my thinking in that, and I'm a much happier person for it. Happy to talk about that in another video, but for today, let's get right back into what I was saying.
What I am looking forward to, though, is being able to buy bras in a store. I have to buy my bras online, unless I go into like a really specialty store, and then they're like, you're fat, guess what? You get to pay $175 for a bra. No joke, not even exaggerating.
I remember that store. I still won't go there. Yes, I can buy bras much more easily now, but it's still not easy, although I am having a breast reduction in February, and I suspect that life is just going to be so much better afterwards as well, for again, a multitude of reasons. But from the bra shopping experience, it'll be nice to have something that's just pretty and doesn't have to be necessarily utilitarian, which is where I'm at now. At the time that I filmed this video, I was in an H to an I cup. It's very difficult to find bras in that size. I am now a double D, so it is much better. But even still, it can be a little bit limiting, and sometimes just because a bra comes in a double D doesn't mean it's really designed for a double D. There's no like support in there, and things can like sort of spill over and ultimately just not look all that great. So I am very excited to see what my new bust line looks like, and then to go and buy pretty bras after my breast reduction.
Okay, I've just washed the last brush. I do need to like touch this one up just a little bit, but I'm gonna cut it there because I've been talking for ages. If you've lost weight, what was the unexpected bonus afterwards, or what was the unexpected downside afterwards? Something that I should maybe keep my eye out for.
Okay, unexpected downside is that your feet can change sizes. Mine are now about half a size smaller than they were, and I really wasn't expecting that. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you do undergo weight loss surgery, be prepared to lose a lot of your hair. It's part of the deal. It does stop eventually, it does regrow, but there's like a solid 4-month period there where you're like, I'm gonna go bald. That's just inevitable. You won't, most likely, but a lot of bariatric patients end up cutting their hair short, as I did last year, simply because it gets very scraggly and very like unkempt looking, just because so much of it has fallen out. An unexpected perk, or at least one that I just never even put my mind to, is just being able to like sit in different positions in a chair. I know that sounds so silly, but like I'm sitting here on my chair, and if I want, there's my knee, I can bring my leg up, I can hug my leg, I can sit cross-legged, I've got the other leg up now. I couldn't do this when I was 300 pounds. There was no way I could do it. If I wanted to bring my leg up, first of all, I had to physically move my stomach out of the way, and then assist my leg up, and then really hold it into place because it just wanted to shoot back out straight. So that is just one little perk, and it's kind of fun because like I go to the movie theaters and I'm much more comfortable. I can put my feet up on the seat. I didn't expect that one, but I really quite enjoyed that little perk. All right, so let's wrap it up there. This one was fun to revisit because I could see the excitement that I had, and knowing that the vast majority of those things have come true is just, it's such validation for having gone through this surgery. And that's not to say this surgery is for everybody, but just prioritizing my health in the way that I did and the impacts that it's had and all these positive changes, it just cements for me that this is the path that I was meant to be on. And I'm looking forward to life after my next round of surgeries as well. It's not going to be nearly as dramatic of a change as gastric bypass was, but it's going to be nice to be able to wear a single bra when I go running instead of having to strap on 2. It's going to be nice to be able to buy pretty bras, buy them for form rather than function. And then with skin removal, certainly the reduction of just skin irritation that I have, because now with the skin hanging over, I get a lot of rashes and infections where that fold is, and it's really not pleasant. I'm dealing with a belly button issue right now because of it. Like it's not pleasant. And then as well, at this point, I've lost so much weight, but because I have the loose skin that I have, because my breasts sag the way that they do, I still don't feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be or where I want to be. So I think the next round of surgeries that I'm having is going to be very helpful in that regard as well. Obviously, this is a video that I posted on the day that I had surgery, meaning that the next videos are ones that came after, and I haven't rewatched those videos either. So if you enjoyed this reaction style video and you want to see more of them, let me know in the comments down below. And if you did enjoy the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I really do want to grow this channel, and giving it thumbs up, commenting, sharing the video, all of that kind of stuff really does help. And of course, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask that you consider doing so. But with all that said, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Bye for now.